Hi, welcome to Planetary Calendars, Astro Portraits. I am Ralph Demetrius, one of the astrologers. The portrait this week is of Jennifer Hudson. Now, she was born on September 12th, 1981. We do not have a time. We don't like doing charts without a time unless we're going to spend a lot of time rectifying it. But Lonnie said, hey, why don't you look at the chart of Aretha Franklin? Because Jennifer, after all, played Aretha in the movie, which is very, very cool. And she got to meet Aretha and spend time with her. So you would think the two charts are very similar. Not at all. In fact, typically when someone plays a live character or a historical character, we typically don't find a lot of overlaps. What we do find are harmonies. Aretha Franklin was born on March 25th, 1942 at 10:30 p.m. in Memphis, Tennessee. So we have a time for her. She is born with the sun in Aries, right? Kind of like Stevie Nicks. She's got the moon in Cancer, very strong moon, highly elevated. It's above the horizon at night. That moon in Cancer becomes very powerful in the chart, maybe more powerful than the Aries sun. And then she has Scorpio rising. So she has the sign of feminine power, martial feminine power, rising. To say she was a powerhouse is a bit of a misstatement. It's an underestimation of who she was. She was a firecracker with a lot of emotional strength and an ability to really relate strongly to women because the moon was in the ninth house, the house of those who help us, our counselors, our mentors. She has the moon highly elevated in the nighttime chart in the ninth house, a house that the moon loves. Powerful, powerful figure. But we're actually supposed to be looking at the chart of Jennifer Hudson, right? Jennifer is interesting in that she's born in Virgo, but the only other thing she has in Virgo is Ceres. Now, we call Ceres the Gypsy Queen, or the Queen of the Nomads. It's the largest of the asteroids. It relates to that entire group of asteroids, many of which are related very strongly to strong women or women's issues. Ceres is the shepherdess. So when people have Ceres close to their sun, they're very good at shepherding the people around them. I think Beyonce, another Virgo, in fact, who they were in the movie together, Dreamgirls, I believe, also is a Virgo with Ceres close to her sun, I believe. So they're both really good at shepherding people around them. But that's the only things they have in Virgo, or she has in Virgo. The powerhouse in her chart, and what really makes Jennifer an artist, is the concentration, what you call stellium, in Libra, the sign of the art. And it's very, very powerful there. She has Saturn, Mercury, and Jupiter all close together from 9 degrees to 14 degrees in Libra. She has Vesta there. Vesta, the sense of having a mission, one of the most feminine of the asteroids there in Libra. She has Pluto at 22 degrees Libra. So this is deep primal energy, all from 9 degrees to 22 degrees. And then finally, we have Venus in her ruling sign, Libra, at the 29th degree. And we find that with a planet at the 29th degree, it's especially powerful. So the planet of the arts is in the sign of the arts, of gracefulness, and of working in harmony with other people. Saturn, which is the beginning of this leadoff, is in its exalted position, the position of the best friend, the colleague. So when she works with other people, she's dependable. She listens to other people in cooperation. And it's conjunct Mercury. Mercury's not especially strong there, nor is Jupiter. But remember, whenever a planet is in a sign with a planet that has these exterior dignities or interior dignities, whatever the dignity is, it can be extrovert, it can be introvert, it follows the lead. That planet becomes the leading planet. So you have Saturn and Venus, both extrovert in Libra. And remember, there's a natural affinity between those two planets. Anyway, Saturn's exalted in Libra. It's a natural connection. It's strengthening the Mercury, the Jupiter, the Vesta, and even the Pluto. It's strengthening them by making this tremendous ability to cooperate with other people. Okay? What else is going on? Now, this is tricky because she's born with the moon at 1 degree Pisces, but we don't know the time. This is for noontime. We don't know the time. She could have an Aquarius moon. And it's very possible she could have an Aquarius moon. The moon in Pisces is very, very dreamy. And that could be very true of her, but we don't know. And I'm not that inclined to want to guess. On the other hand, when we look at Aretha's chart, how do these two connect? And this is where it gets real cool. Aretha Franklin has Mars. Remember, Mars is real important because the sun's in Aries, so that Mars picks up extra power in Gemini. That's interesting. The area of speaking, conjunct Jupiter. Mars is conjunct Jupiter. Remember, with Aretha, she has Saturn, Mercury, and Jupiter conjunct. So Jupiter, the biggest planet, they both have, buddies, you might say. She also has Mars. Aretha has Mars in the 8th house. A very powerful house. This is the Scorpio house. This is feminine power. Mars is in her own house. That's very powerful. That's more powerful in many ways than the sun in Aries in the 6th house. The 6th house is a house that helps other people. It doesn't initiate. Aries likes to initiate, but it tends to help other people. There's a lot of people she helped in the course of her life. Reached out to other people. But that Mars in, Gemini, it means that she's really good at managing people. She's great at managing people, and that's really expanded her horizons. And that supports, of course, that moon, which is in rulership, moon in rulership in Cancer, powerful, exalted, okay? Or in ruler, not exalted, elevated. The sun is exalted in Aries, the best friend colleague position. So both of them have this combination of rulerships and that. Aretha has Venus and Pallas Athena, the warrior goddess, in Aquarius. This is why I'm kind of inclined to think that Jennifer Hudson has the Aquarius moon, because that would really relate to, the Venus and the moon and Vesta. These are very feminine energies. They align real well. There was some connection that two of them made, and that's funny that it's through Aquarius, which is not by its nature it's a little androgynous in its nature. It's unusual in its nature. The Venus in Aquarius meant that there was something unusual about Aretha's looks. Her beauty was unusual in a certain way. This is where it gets real interesting. Now she has Venus and Pallas Athena in air signs, Aquarius. She has Jupiter and Mars, right, trine that in air signs, right? She has, what's the third air sign? Libra. Aretha has nothing in Libra. Nada, niente. No planets, nothing. It's just a big empty space in her chart. Who has a whole bunch in Libra? Jennifer Hudson. Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, Vesta, Pluto, and Venus. She completes that trine for Aretha. She completes that circle for Aretha. It's interesting. Alicia Keys, who was born just a few months before Jennifer Hudson, also has that Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto in Libra. But there, instead of having her Venus there, her moon is there. So both of them have this very strong commitment to the arts. It's very, very strong to them. Although by the time that Alicia was born, Vesta had moved into Virgo. Very strong position for Vesta. So here you see that they're supporting each other, and this is where it gets real interesting in terms of their careers. Remember, Jupiter's real powerful in Aretha's chart because it's so closely conjunct to that Mars, okay, and Mars being her ruling planet as an Aries. Her Jupiter at 15 degrees Gemini is trine within 1 degree of Jennifer Hudson's Jupiter at 14 degrees Libra. 1 degree. These two are just like locked. And it's funny too, because, in the Chinese system of the animal years, they always tell you to marry certain years. Well, what they're describing is people who are born basically at a trine from your Jupiter. And in this case, Aretha was born in the year of the water horse, and Jennifer Hudson was born in the year of the metal rooster. So the rooster and the horse are trine to each other in years, and so this created a natural support. This was beneficial to both of them. It was stable, and it's in Jupiter. It's about expansion. Okay, and neither of them have Jupiter, powerfully placed in terms of the sign. Jupiter in Libra is not an exalted or rulership or detriment even. It's not a dignity, and Jupiter in Gemini isn't either. But they're both in the company of, Jupiter is in the company of Saturn and of Venus. Mars in Aretha's chart is in or Jupiter is in the company of Mars, who's in her own house. See what I mean? They're well connected. There's something about both of these people that their success has come about, and partially because of who they became connected to. Who do they relate to? And it's funny too, because like I said, with Jennifer Hudson, she has Ceres close to her sun. Her ability to be a good shepherd is right there. Whereas Ceres in Aretha's chart, it's in 3 degrees Pisces, in the same sign with her Mercury at 13 degrees Pisces, and the South Node, which is conjunct her Mercury in Pisces. That's interesting. The South Node conjunct Mercury in Pisces in Aretha's chart. It's a reincarnational town. Mercury in Pisces, the ability to create a vision of something. Mercury in Pisces is the detriment position, the feminine detriment position for Mercury. Doesn't sound good. It's not a detriment. It's not a really good word for it. Think of it as an internalized or introvert. And instead of thinking it as the feminine, think of it as the responsive. Mercury in Pisces is responsive in a personal level. Instead of a social level, it's personal level. In other words, a Mercury in Pisces person, when you got troubles and you need to talk with someone about it, the Mercury Pisces person, they'll not only listen, they'll get you the cup of tea and then later the glass of wine. And they'll listen and they'll sympathize and they'll empathize because they understand, because this is personal to them. When people do that for you, it binds you to them. It's a personal connection. Its opposite position, the Mercury in Virgo, is known for being very analytical. And when you show up around a person with Mercury in Virgo and you tell them their problem, you tell them your problems, they give you the solution right away. No problem, we'll go fix that. They're not gonna be as sympathetic, but they'll help you fix it. The Mercury in Pisces, when you deal with those situations that sometimes there's no easy solution, or the solution is you need someone to listen to you, that's Mercury in Pisces. And she has it in the 5th house. So she likes that interaction with people, but it also means a great imagination. This is a very, very creative person, but she could also create a great sense of vision. Remember, this Mercury in Pisces is trine that advocate moon in the 9th house in Cancer. And they both trine her rising in Scorpio. She was a tremendous advocate, a tremendous speaker, a tremendous vision maker for the power of women. And not women acting like men, women acting like women, but powerful women. And that's that big water trine that she has between the rising, the moon, and the Mercury at the South Node. Remember, it's reincarnational for her, right? What's interesting about that is for Jennifer Hudson, she's not a watery person. She's not, maybe the moon is in Pisces, but I almost kind of feel like it might be more so in Aquarius. The only thing she has Juno in Pisces and Uranus in Pisces, but neither of those are up close and personal on her, And then finally she has really nothing major at all in Cancer. She's not a watery person per se, That Libra dominates her chart. And the other thing that is very strong in her chart is our Mars in Leo, which is a tremendous position for a musician, for a performer. This is one of the reasons why she was able to move from performing music into acting, or even, I think she started off on one of the competition shows, or that's how she became well known, was one of the competition shows. That Mars in Leo has no problem stepping up on the stage and saying, "Hey, let's do this." Where Aretha Franklin's chart, her chart was always going to be, she was always going to be, connected to other people. She was always going to be managing the group. She was going to be up on the stage, and she was going to be the spokesperson, but she had her whole group with her. She had her whole little community with her, where, Jennifer Hudson, she forges her alliances, and then she performs, and then it's funny, her chart in some ways, she and Beyonce have certain similarities in that they forge strong alliances. They're really good at performing, but there's that Virgo dedication to perfectionism, to getting it right, feel like you're serving a purpose, making people feel better, or making people, resolve things through their music, through listening to music. This is part of their mission. This is part of her mission. Aretha, it was about speaking up. It was about being a champion. It was about, being a spokeswoman in the way that she knew how to do it. So it's just fascinating how, Aretha had her story, and Jennifer Hudson was the person who could fit right into those empty spots and see it and support it and play the role without being the role. So it's a fascinating chart. Aretha Franklin, Jennifer Hudson, two tremendously talented artists. This is part of our music series in the Planetary Calendar Astrology YouTube music series on portraits. We do these every Tuesday. You can always find them unless we're taking a break, but we typically do them every Tuesday because they are fun. On Fridays, we do our forecasts. Right now, we're working our way through, of course, 2022. And if you have the calendar, you can follow along with what's going on week by week. We do those every Friday. And right now, in fact, we have the Planetary Calendars Day Planner available. And soon we'll have the 2023 calendars are ready to be shipped out. So if you don't have your calendars, why not? How are you supposed to know what's going on? So you can find those at planetarycalendar.com, and come visit us at Planetary Calendar Astrology on YouTube. And please subscribe. It's always a big help to us. And we like having a nice active community that makes cool comments. Until next time, be well.